Update on my wife's digusting habits, turns out there is a reason for them. Hi all. I think I got everyone quite upset with my post about my wife, who is very fickle and who would contaminate food. I decided to try one last time to talk it through with her. When I got home from my job in corporate, I sat her down and said we needed to talk. She looked worried. I showed her the post and she got red and it looked like she was getting angry, like she would burst with anger. Instead she bursted into tears. Seeing her like this caused my heart to melt and I cried also. After she calmed herself enough to talk, she explained things. She asked me if I remembered meeting her. I replied of course, we were high school sweethearts. She said no, really describe it. I tried to go into detail and then found myself saying no wait, we met at college, we went to the SAM club as we share interests. She replied what was the social club? I listed things it could have been, but could remember nothing. She then asked about my job, what I did. I replied I worked in an office, that I worked in corporate. She said corporate what exactly? I couldn't answer. She said my mind was just trying to make sense of its surroundings, that she had put a glamour on me many decades ago. I scoffed. She shook her head and said she would instead show me. First of all, the room around me changed. It all rotted before my eyes, with black mold spreading strangely, like veins, and with the everything growing dark, and cold, and wet, with a dull, blue-green quality. I looked at her, confused, eyes wide, then her own form shifted. Her skin became sunken and sallow, with a slickly green tinge. She had great sadness in her eyes, which now were jaundiced and yellow. Her iris was like one huge pupil, black and like a void, drawing me in. I screamed and was trying to turn and run, but the mold had grown up my legs and held me in place. She sighed, and begged me to calm down and hear her out, noxious gases seeping from her mouth as she did so. She still had the structure of a beautiful face, but corrupted, decaying and rotten, with a sweet rotten smell emanating from her. It was strangely compelling. At this point I could not look away. Her hand reached out to touch my cheek and I felt it cold and dry on my skin, yet I did not pull away. I felt my heart melt. I listened as she began to explain her story. No, our story. It turns out she is something like Thysis, Greek demonic personification of decay. She says she has gone by many names, but this is the one she chooses now. She had met me when I was offered as a sacrifice to her by some cultists. They chose me as apparently, I have divine heritage also. I am a child of Oxo, goddess of growth. Instead of her rot consuming me slowly from within, the divine spark from my mother caused me to replenish the decay. It seemed we formed a complementary cycle, and it was love at first sight, and she consumed the cultists instead of me. She then knew she could never be apart from me, and used magic to make me accept what I saw and make it normal and feel safe. I had grown to love her in return very quickly, but I kept rebelling against the world we lived in, a decaying, rotten parallel of our own. She explained that while I was alive I would always have this discomfort with her domain, that she had tried to introduce normality by letting me have friends who she would glamour and bring into our world and then return home, and even gave me a Reddit account, as you all saw. But it was not working, that I had to return. I begged and pleaded that I wanted to stay, but in my heart I knew she was right. We cried together for hours before Ashay said it was time. She told me she would come to me in my dreams, that we could never be truly apart. Since then I am back here with the rest of you and my family, who had all forgotten me, due to her magic. Now when I dream of her, it's in her true form, but I am not disgusted, less so than when I just thought she needed a shower and to clean her teeth. When I feel her cold, often wet, and slimy embrace, my heart races and I feel nothing but love and desire. Anyway, thanks Reddit, and hopefully don't assumed ops like me are reliable narrators. Some of us lie and twist our stories, but more likely we are being affected by supernatural entities and not even aware of what is real and what is not. The fickleness was all on her though, women, am I right?